Coming to you from rugby's greatest fortress, New Zealand's national stadium, Eden Park, is the Aotearoa Rugby Pod. Kia ora and welcome to the Aotearoa Rugby Pod, and look who's here. Look who's here.
It's good to be in the flesh, boys.
Hey, it's back,
We've been a touch. We've been a touch.
Welcome back. Bryn Hall is in the house as well as James Parsons. Ross Carr with you as ever for another Aotearoa Rugby Pod.
Well, the Hurricanes were something else, were they? We will get deep into how good they were, why they won by so much, what on earth happened to the Chiefs as well. And of course, don't forget, we have the All Blacks squad announcement on Monday. We will be all over that straight after the announcement happens with an Aotearoa Rugby Pod special on this All Blacks team, exactly who's in it and why and what it means for this France test first up. So please catch that. We'll also get into the Springboks today. Massive score against the Barbarians. If you want to catch us, please go to @Aotearoa Rugby Pod official channels, YouTube. Catch us in audio pod. Go to our social channels as well. Please do. Go to stuff.co.nz for articles, the podcast, clips. Same thing goes as well for Rugby Pass for all you people internationally. Catch us there and also get those wonderful stats as well. So plenty to get into. And if you like coming to Eden Park, we're based at Eden Park. Robbie Williams is coming here, so go get your tickets. Secure those tickets November 24 if you want to go see Robbie Williams on his Britpop tour, lighting up Eden Park like James Parsons in the 2017 Lions for the Blues. Okay, boys, let's get into it. 60-5. Like, it was almost silly. Like, it was clinical, chaotic.
I think that's the key word, chaotic. Like, you heard, I suppose, the coaching group of the Canes say at the beginning of the year, we want to be calm in the chaos. They wanted to create the chaos, and that's what it looked like. Like, the thing that killed the Chiefs the most was probably more the fact they got 20 offloads, and then from those offloads, that's where the 20 line breaks came from. And normally they're a good scramble team, but the way the Hurricanes were in terms of, I suppose, their desperation to get in and around the ball. I think Ruben Love's try, there's a great example. Like, Peter Lakai sort of gets a bobbled ball on the ground, he does a swivel and he runs 40 odd metres, and then Ruben does his thing after a few other phases. But it was special to watch, and the best team. Is it the most dominant Super Rugby team in history? You'd have to go as far to say that it was, on that scoreline.
Week on week, 50 plus points against good rugby sides.
And you even said it earlier in the week as well, around last week, that you wouldn't be surprised if they score 50 points. And the way they did it, like, I think at the same time, the Chiefs would be really disappointed, right, to go 0-4. But look, the Hurricanes took it to them in really tricky conditions as well. Like, you saw the warm-up, you saw the kicks early on with Davey McKenzie not being able to get into the position where they really are, which is a big part of the territory battle, which they did lose. But, geez, they're good to watch. Like, all their backs, I look at Devin Flanders tries a perfect example with what we've seen them the whole year. The animation of being able to play nice and square, hitting the tip ball. But if you see out the back, there's a couple of animation people that are right there to be able to make decisions, which they've done the whole year. And I remember I said, like, last week, that if the Chiefs are going to continue to keep giving them opportunities, they had 22 overs. The Hurricanes were going to did what they did on the weekend. They just gave them multiple opportunities, and they keep picking the right options.
Yeah, it's that fearlessness. Like, we sort of spoke about, like, the great champions, like, always say that you got to play without fear. Well, that's exactly what they did. Because those conditions, you looked at that, and you're honestly thinking we were going to see any tries.
Yep.
Let alone what we saw. Like, it was, some of those kicks that were blowing backwards in the first half. You wonder if that's had the Chiefs had the win, because their kicking and their territory-based game was their strength. Had they had the ability to go with the wind in the first half, could have been different, potentially. But I just feel like the Canes had that ruthless mindset. We saw against the Brumbies, and probably everyone was, that's the Brumbies. But, mate, that performance last night was just, it was out of this world. Like, I still can't believe that you can win a final 60-5 against a stacked Chiefs side. A lot of All Blacks. I think there might be a few All Blacks in the old Canes team after that performance.
Well, I think if you look at, I understand probably the set piece part of it is really important. But
the Hurricanes dominated. They did. Like, the Chiefs went into this game, and that was what my biggest talking point is. They dominate set piece. They were first in the comp in both, and I don't know. The Canes just got that little chip on their shoulder. They've got Whopper. Whopper's running a really good cutter with that pack, and made a big statement when it mattered. Their best teams, their best players, across the board, won the small moments throughout that whole 80 minutes.
Yeah.
If they had used that kicking game in the second half, if they had done what they did against the Crusaders in that first half, gone back to that they could have got themselves back in the game instead of Hail Marys.
I think the score dictated how they would play, right? Like if it was tight, then you'd probably go to that territory-based kicking game, which they've done through the whole year. But scoreboard pressure, 29 points up, you feel like you probably need to chance your arm a little bit more, and that fits in nicely to the Hurricanes, who defensively put you under pressure with their high line speed. So
They should have kicked more.
Yeah.
That's the answer. Like it just, to me, it looked like they were rattled.
Oh, 100%.
You know, like half
100%.
time they were rattled,
100%.
and their solution was like, okay, we're going to have to take extreme risk, which I'm not sure. 30 points is a lot. Like I get it, or 29, whatever it was, but they're good enough to score. They showed that. They scored 42 the week before. I just felt like they just went, like their kicking stats were very low. Like they've kicked the most in the comp, and they only had 16 kicks on the night, and especially when they're turning in the wind. Like Cam Roygaard's kicking was a big part of, you know, the Hurricanes playing in the right part, whereas it's almost like the Chiefs tried to beat the Hurricanes at their own game, and it wasn't their natural fit.
Yeah.
And they scored 40 points and a half against the Crusaders. I just felt like they should have backed themselves to redo that.
Yeah.
They know they can do that. We saw it last week.
I think at the same time, though, like they had 20 turnovers. Like they had so many
Don't you reckon
mistakes.
that's because they
though.
went away from this game plan, though? Because they kicked less, they chanced their arm.
I do feel that like I look probably more so in that first half, like they were just really uncharacteristic mistakes. Do you know what I mean? Like obviously they weren't. I don't think some of them were forced by the Hurricanes. It was just more so just decisions and being able to get the execution of the players that were making mistakes. And then from that, like I think in the first 30 minutes there was 6 entries into the 22 for the Hurricanes. There was 0 for the Chiefs. Do you know what I mean? So the position and the territory, more so the territory base, like that's where they lost the game as well. Which to your guys' point, they've always been so strong around playing in the right areas of the field, which they just didn't get right at all in Wellington.
And the type of kick, you know, like, because you even saw the Canes when they sort of turned into the wind, you know, sort of long across the ground, grubbers, though, you know, like trying to sort of pump a contestable into a breeze like that, sort of put them under more pressure, the Chiefs, in that first half. But, you know, like the Hurricanes still had 13 turnovers. Like the one thing that impresses me about them is, and they had it from the get-go of the season, like they'd rather lose their way than tighten up and try and play another game. And it's like to have the courage to do that in those conditions, like, and pull it off is just sensational. Because the defensive pressure of the Chiefs, like man, like they're a good defensive side, but the one thing the Chiefs haven't faced this year is that amount of offload sticking.
Yeah.
And because it was actually the second phase attack that just killed them defensively. Like it wasn't the one-on-one tackle. It was the type of tackle that allowed the offload. Yeah. Even when they were tackled, I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was when Lakai popped it up to Morby, that same line break, and you know he's tackled, he's on the ground, pops up. You know that sort of pop touch mentality, like that wouldn't even be classed as an offload.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So there's another 10 or 15 of those sorts of offloads as well. So they're just constantly on the back foot.
I think even like Harkin's try, I think it was Geordie Barrett that actually made the offload to then be able to score the try. Like 20, I think it was like 20 offloads, which is like a ridiculous amount considering those conditions to be able to fine hand to then be able to build pressure. And look, I think also like the gain line was 70% or 63 for the Chiefs, which is predominantly pretty high as well. But like offloads, being able to play over the gain line, the multiple phase of threats that they have, you know, look at Namir, Lakai, Isaiah Walker-Leeward was really good on the weekend.
He was
like
a missile into some of those runs.
That forward pack, I don't know, man. Like, and they've been doing it the whole year. Like that group has been doing that the whole year.
Made a couple of comments last night when we were watching it. It was like, geez, Warner Derns, he's the one that got away.
Oh man,
yeah, it was a hell of a performance. Like it's been a good season from him. Yeah. Statistically, probably the only area that you could question is, I suppose, his tackle percentage. But because he fully commits and the way the Hurricanes' defensive system works, sometimes those stats are misleading because a missed tackle when you force someone back into traffic it can be seen as a win in that defensive system. So no, he was massive, and both teams struggled line-out time, like as you would in those conditions. Yeah. But it was just impressive around, I suppose, that contact area. Like they, as I said, like Walker Leaweri, like he almost like that tight five put it on themselves to say, well, we've heard all week about how good the Chiefs are in the carry clean collisions. This is where they're going to beat us up. well, they matched them and then some.
Yeah.
Did you see any adjustments from the Hurricanes in the way that they played in comparison to previous weeks?
I would just say probably their game management and their kicking, like to what Jipper's points were saying, with those wind conditions along the grass, being able to make it a little bit more along the ground. Love did that quite well in the second half, even with Cam Roygaard as well. But like, I wrote down in my notes, like, what I saw with them as well and how they get the ball to width so easy is because I think also they're seeing the picture that's in front of them, but they're also seeing mismatches. Like the amount of time that the tight forwards are actually on the edge for the Chiefs on the weekend, and they're seeing that trigger straight away, and then they're able to go through. Like Geordie Bower went through a couple of times. Pete Larkai went through a big line break. So like, I didn't see anything different for them. Like, it's just the fact that they did it under those conditions and that high amount of pressure in a final. It comes back to their preparation. They're getting really coached well, and what they're seeing during the week, they're able to then go pull trigger. Which I think in any great team, if you can do that under pressure, you're getting a lot of the stuff right behind the scenes before even going onto the field.
Yeah, I definitely think they stuck to who they were and what they've done all year. Maybe a little bit more kicking off Roygaard in those conditions. You know, he kicked 235 metres out of the 566. So that's, in terms of ratio, that's a bit higher. But I think it was more like the Chiefs spent too much time trying to create from bad parts of the field, which we hadn't seen. You know, they'd been pretty disciplined and methodical in that. And when they did decide to pull trigger, they were very accurate.
Yeah.
We've had an interesting email come through from Matt Farah. I think it's Farah. He says, would the Canes beat the All Blacks? It's an interesting idea. You know, he goes through a few of the players. You know, De Groot might out-scrummage out Numier and, you know, things like that. You know, Artie might edge Duplessis, etc. But as a collective, it's an interesting concept when you think about the way that you base an international team on a Super Rugby franchise.
Well, I think with how they played,
Yeah.
and the stats cover everything, especially on the attacking side, like why would you not? And we probably are going to see, so probably debutants that are going to come through. Like, I think, look, Josh Morby has had an outstanding year, thinking an awful guys like that will probably be rewarded with being able to play. But man, like, I'm still trying to like get my head around like the game, but also just how they've played through the whole year. Because like you could arguably say, I think like they're probably the best Super Rugby team that's ever gone down.
She's hard to go past the old Roygaard, Love, Barrett, Proctor.
Yeah.
At the moment, you know, like, and it's harsh on Quinn, but like in terms of their mojo and what they've got cooking.
The challenges is like, can that Hurricane, because as a Kiwi fan, right, as a fan that likes to watch rugby and loves the attacking brand of rugby, will Dave Rennie and co, will they pick those players that they can be able to try and get what the Hurricanes did this year?
If they are, you have to almost give them the license. Like they've been given ownership and license of the style of play.
Yep.
You know, the coaches have worked really hard to shift that ownership to the play group. Taken a little bit longer for, I suppose, Clark Laidlaw and his team to get the big rocks in place to get that ownership, but man, it paid dividends because you could see that they had the confidence and freedom to pull trigger. And weren't afraid, like even when they made mistakes, they believed they could get back in. Now, the interesting thing is when you talk about could they just put the Hurricanes into the All Blacks? Yes, technically you could, but a lot of it for me is understanding the systems they're going into. Like I think defensively in particular, Corey Jane's system is aggressive. Okay, like it's not about tackling at 90% because the percentage doesn't matter because they're always trying to feed traffic back into their big boys. And is that going to be what the All Blacks run? If it is, then these players are best suited. But I think it's also understanding the nuances of a Mike Blair attack shape and those sorts of things. Like I know it's a great question, but as my wife always says, like, I've always got another question to try and understand things, which becomes annoying, but it's not a simple answer for me to say yes, they could beat the All Blacks because one, you're going to need half the players that are on that side, but also like I just feel a little bit in the unknown with the All Blacks at the moment, just because like even though I know the coaches and we've analysed the way they've coached it, we've seen, man, like it doesn't matter how good you are at club level, like coaching at international level just is a different beast.
Yep. Do you see any similarities between the way that Colbert play under Dave Rennie and that kind of style and what we've heard from Dave Rennie about what he wants to do with the All Blacks and what the Hurricanes are doing?
I think I'd definitely say like your counter-attack and off the ball, those kind of Dave Rennie kind of things that were trademarked pretty early in his career when he was at the Chiefs, like the high turnover attack, being able to use the ball off broken play is a big part of what as Dave Rennie was very successful with Corbier. But at the same time, the collision area was always big around like Dave Rennie, like with the Corbier team, like your Brodie Retallick, your Artie Severes, very, very good around the breakdown to be able to then play quick ball and having your roving threats to be able to be animated, getting a block lead runner, getting guys out the back and to have them all swinging and being in picture. So there are similarities, but I just think the Hurricanes, like their attack coach, like Jason Holland and Clark Laidlaw and the guys that have been there, like I just loved watching them play because they took the right decisions at the right time and they did it better than anybody else in the competition. You saw that evidently on the weekend.
And that's what I just love. Like rugby sometimes is complicated by coaches, but this Hurricanes coaching group simplified it and they just honed the basic skills over and over again. And then they've got some freakish athletes that have an ability to, make something that looks fairly impossible possible. Like diving over a player and somehow putting it down league style.
Yeah.
I mean, that was an incredible try.
Yeah, special for
Absolutely incredible.
It was almost like a coronation try.
It was a similar corner actually at the Lions with Dan Carter when he scored that try against Johnny Wilkinson. I know it's obviously with different, it's international level, but same side, had that kind of same feeling as a coronation, you're right, around his performance on the weekend. You'd have to think that he's the guy that's going to be given the first chance. And obviously, two teams are different and the Chiefs probably didn't give the front
I don't see how
go for a ball. Yeah.
It was a hell of a performance. Like we did say, this is as big as it's going to get before a test match.
And he passed with flying colours, man.
He just didn't blink.
No, he didn't.
He looks just confident. He just looks.
Yeah.
But like all season, and I'm repeating myself now because I've said it all season, he's just selfless. Like he just does wherever and what the team needs, and I think that's the whole Hurricanes team. And that's why you could see the enjoyment as a group, as a family almost, in the sense that everyone played their role. Like it would have been so easy for Fehi and Josh to hunt tries, but no, they held their width. Other players that it might not have been their day and they don't get a lot of carries, but they held their position, which held defenders. Like all those little selfless actions just add up over and over again. And it's more, I think it's that selfless attitude that we saw under the bright lights that was probably done when there were no one else watching. Like they were doing all the right things, all the little things for the team when no one was watching, and that's why it came through under pressure.
You could always say throughout the year, their language of what they've been saying, right? It's always been a team first to say, we want to be better here. It's not all about myself or anything like that. So I think the fact they looked happy, man, they looked happy. You saw every single time.
Two of the most humble leaders.
Yeah.
Like, God, they are just a great advert for rugby.
Yeah.
Like Geordie and Duplessis are just special individuals, special people.
It's a great combination, both of them, I reckon, both of them. Spent a lot of time, obviously, growing up, and boys of Francis Douglas played a lot of rugby, so I guess for those two boys, it was pretty special. You could see it was special.
You can just sense that deep care for the region and giving the people something to...
Yeah.
It's similar to Dave Havili. Dave Havili gives me those vibes when he talks about Christchurch. It's they just hold the room, or you want to hear his interview. You want to hear what they've got to say. Special night, man, for the club. I think it's going to be one hard season to top.
Yeah, it was a bit of a special night for us last night too.
A few too many Heinekens.
Thank you to Sky City, to Andy's Burgers, a bar, and also to Ben O'Keefe coming along and dropping some knowledge.
Yeah.
Because there were some interesting things in that game around that put down that went back to halfway.
Yeah.
Some funny little looks.
Yeah. Well, because I went up to, I didn't even understand it. If they do it immediately, it goes back halfway for a scrum. But if they fluff around with it, it goes to a 22. It's quite like that. Again, shows the level of knowledge of the Hurricanes and their preparation and having that ability to know if they do it immediately. And I think it's a big thing to do with how New Zealand refs, like one ref has entered each environment, and you can just see that growth and knowledge and deep understanding of the laws can also be a point of difference for us now going into that international arena. But I think the Chiefs fans, though, to be fair, a lot of the Chiefs fans came a long way just to hear us talk some rubbish. It was a great night, and the crowd was good. There was a random Hurricane supporter. He was very, very, very good, though. He was very vocal. He really enjoyed Kirifi. God, he enjoyed Duplessis Kirifi. But no, it was great fun.
Right, so season's come to an end. Best player for you, I know Quinn Tupai got the overall MVP award, but who was the best player for you through the season?
Look, I think actually probably there's been two others. I think Ruben Love is an easy pick. I think with the way that he's played and the way he played in the final, but like I think probably Drip and I were going to be pretty similar around this. Like Peter Larkai and the way that he's played, like the stats that we probably showed last week with what he did, what he does behind the scenes, but then also his ability to be able to attack with the ball defensively, what it may be. But yeah, just with Pete Larkai and his performances, I think he's only 23?
Oh, yeah.
Very young. But the fact I think his ceiling is going to go to the next level. So I think Quinn Tupai obviously got the MVP votes with the teams, but look, I think Pete Larkai, you got to have a Hurricane.
Yeah, I think it's also like you got to understand those votes as like from captain and coaches, and sometimes it's like the unseen work isn't always like acknowledged in those sorts of situations, and sometimes after a loss, they're probably just like, hey, just give it to him. Yeah, you know, like it's not necessarily like a thought out. Like so for me, it is Peter Larkai. I just thought he was the silent assassin that got through a hell of a lot of work. You know, did a lot of X factor things. Probably more so. Probably his best game was the final. It was the best game of the season. Was his final, and but yeah, I just think the amount of involvements he had, and when you're looking at the style of play of the Hurricanes, those are the glue. Like him, Duplessis, you know, even like a Warner Dearns, Xavier Numere, a Safa Moore. Geez, I'm
Could have all of them. All of them.
They are the glue that allow Fehe and Josh to score those tries. Yes, there's still some super tries in there from individual brilliance, but Pete Larkai is certainly leading the charge in the off the ball work.
Can we just note how there was only one Hurricanes player in the team of the year?
But they steal votes from each other. But you have to understand the system. This happens in Dally M and NRL. Like the system, they take votes from each other.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. It's like Cam Smith, Billy Slater, and Cooper Cronk never got as many because they took votes off each other. Like that's just the reality.
I just looked at the team, and I know to your point that that's right, but it just didn't look right.
Like I know Super Rugby's taking their crack, but it's just I don't really know another system. Like unfortunately, when a team is that good and they're that selfless.
Yeah, well, if you're going to run an MVP points race like that, I'd wonder whether instead of for the team of the year, you go and get a group of selectors, you know, and you almost say, okay, a coach and player from each team selects their 23. You somehow find a way of combining them and making it work. Because when you got Lester Whainga-Nuku, who for most of the time was playing in the midfield throughout the year. He didn't go to number 7 till week 11.
Yeah.
You know, the majority of the points he earned were actually in the midfield, and then he's in the flank. So it's flawed. Like,
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just a note that I just saw, and I just wanted to bring up because
But that's why.
Yeah.
Like the system doesn't allow them to all get points.
Yeah.
And then you've got to somehow cobble a team together. You know, so they got 3 open side flankers in their loose forwards. You know?
I think there was 2 loose head props as well. Anyway.
Sorry.
I tried to have your back, Super Rugby, but they've pulled me down. They've pulled me down with their half cup.
But I mean, we saw a really good rookie of the year. But who for you was the rising star?
Oh, I think Lucas Casey.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think for him, he was definitely one that we talked to him maybe being in the All Blacks with how his performances were at the back end of the year for the Highlanders. But yeah, I think just him, the way that he was able to play, probably in the early part of the year was just trying to figure out and find his feet in Super Rugby. But by the end of the year, he was in a retrainer form. But I think also another guy that I did here, I'll leave one that I think is coming.
Stealing all.
It's coming.
I feel like just looking at my
notes.
notes.
He's coming. He's got one that I will leave for him. But I think Cooper Roberts. I think Cooper Roberts was one that I saw with the Crusaders. I think his performances, with the very small amount that he did have, I think the fact with the Dallas McLeod, Braden Enor, those guys leaving, him having an opportunity maybe next year for the Crusaders. But yeah, I'd say, Lucas Casey would be my guy though.
Notable mention, Torian Barnes. I think he had a massive season, and you can see he's going to have a big future, and you know, definitely thinks he's, you know, looks like he's got some international, you know, honours if he keeps going with that style of game and that brute force. But I just can't. You know, I think this guy was a big hole for the Chiefs. It was Isaac Hutchinson, fullback. The way he played, I just didn't know how quick he was. Like his injection of pace. He's sort of like Harkin, you know, like it's kind of deceptive in terms of their way they can inject into the line. His decision making, he triple threat. He can kick, he can carry, he can pass, and man, he puts his body on the line. Like he gets in front of players and defends. And I think it's the first season of many that he's going to be a shining star.
Yeah.
How's Odenride? Not one of your players, Chipper. You perfect
Well, we only played
opportunity
about
there.
3 games, you know, like, you got to look at the impact. Like he's a rising star, but I also felt like Cody Vire was awesome at the start of the season. But when you look at the output, like Hutchinson's had a big impact in the final series, and since he moved there through injury, where he was unknown, he has just taken the world by storm.
Yeah. Every single performance was kind of breathtaking from him.
It just got better and better.
Energy, just massive energy.
And had he not been injured, like you'd think he'd go close to some All Black chat. Yeah. Beaver had him in there.
I didn't see that. Yeah, Daggy as well. That was Daggy's talking about as well.
That was very hopeful.
Yeah.
The other game this morning, the Springboks also had a massive blowout against the Barbarians. I mean, it is a Barbarians game, so who knows what to take out of it, but it was a very strong Springboks team on paper.
Expansive, getting the ball to width and space. I couldn't help but watch it and just go, this, because it was not their top lineup, you know, like they gave some guys some opportunity and rewarded for some URC form, I suppose, but holy dooly, the skill set and the ability to get to the edge and then the speed on the edge.
Bend and move, right?
Oh my God, that try, what was it, about 70, 80 metres in the second half, just absolutely blitzed down that left flank. Admittedly, the Barbars probably a little bit piss crook, but it was a very 80 points, man. It was still an international stack side.
Yeah.
Some very good players. 80 points is a hell of a lot to put on them.
Their outsides, I mean, you mentioned Van der Merwe, but geez, they got some outsides.
Colby's still got it.
It actually is crazy for like Chisholm.
Stazen's a big unit as
Yeah.
well. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
You go.
Just think like Chisholm, like playing, he obviously plays in Japan, but just doesn't play anywhere to the level that he does for the Springboks. Like he plays, don't get me wrong, he's a very good
but
player.
Not as electric as
No, he looks way more electric.
Yeah,
It's
it's systems.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer like systems suit certain players, you
Yeah.
know, and although they look marvellous in one system, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to slip straight into another system.
Yeah.
But I do have to say, Esterhuizen, has he been in the tin shed? Now he's covering Lucy? Because, mate, that was a hell of a barnstorming run. He just ran over the top of a few defenders. And I just felt like, oh, this boy's going to be seen at Lucy a bit more than we think. Yeah. He's definitely packed on a good hunk of muscle. And man,
Which is scary.
Oh.
Which is scary to think he's a big man already to start.
Yeah, it's... I know we can't keep going there, but this tour is just going to be something else.
Kuan Horn at 10.
I think he was probably just told to go play. You know, there were errors, but you know, for the most part, if you're sitting in that jersey and there's 80 points scored, you're probably putting yourself in the right positions.
Yeah.
Again, I just think there's probably some of those, even some of the type 5 guys getting opportunities defensively just a little bit clunky.
I do like that what is coming through South Africa, their 10s, right? It's like being able to play and being able to attack. You know, for so long we had Pollard, who was very good around the game management. When he did running, he was okay, but it just seems like the next crop that are coming through are all out attack. You know, whether that's through Tony Brown and Rassie, where they see the game is going, but man, they're impressive to watch.
Yeah.
Just attacking, and I love to see it as a 10. Well, it's been an evolution, right, over the last couple of years with Tony Brown there, all the work that's been done, not only with their forwards, but their backs, being able to get their skill set to a level where it is now. So it's enjoying to watch. And again, if you can win the game line battle, which South Africans predominantly have done the last couple of years, and you can marry up those attacking stats with the way that they play and using the ball in hand, bring on the tour.
Now, don't forget, All Blacks announcement, Monday. We will be all over it, giving you a special after the team is named at midday. So please come straight back to the channel for that so you can get plenty of All Blacks coverage for us. What does that squad look like? Of course, you can go to @Aotearoa Rugby Pod official channels, get us on YouTube, get us as an audio pod across our socials, go to stuff.co.nz or Rugby Pass as well. And if you want to be at Eden Park on November 24th for Robbie Williams, don't forget to go and buy those tickets as well for his Britpop tour. We'll catch you with the All Blacks team. Mā te wā.